continue with the Vedanta 7 Steps to Samadhi by Osho. Today is session number 5. And the question we are asking is, who is a true sage, a true saint? Osho says a person is called a sage when he has become choiceless. A sage, a saint means one who cannot judge, who does not judge. A sage in India is not the same as a sage in the West. In the West, the Pope gives sainthood to people. It is like a certificate or a degree. The Pope must declare that a certain person has become a sage. The Council of Bishops must agree, confirm it. So it's just like a university giving a doctorate, a PhD or a DLit. Now let us think about Joan of Arc. She was killed, she was murdered, she was burnt because of the Pope at that time, because of the church. They thought she was against Christianity. Then later the judgment was changed. Later, other popes found that the Pope who condemned her was wrong. So later, after she was dead, she was awarded sainthood. She was made a saint. She became Saint Joan of Arc. But the question remained, what do we do with the man who had condemned her? What do we do with the bishop who was solely responsible for her burning and murder, who had proposed to the Pope that she should be condemned? He was dead. So what can we do about him? So his bones were taken out of his grave, out of the town, and they were beaten, insulted, and thrown to the dogs. Now John became a saint by the decree of the Pope. In the East, this looks like the peak of foolishness. Nobody can make a man a sage. Nobody, no judge. This is not something like a degree to be given by somebody else. It is an inner achievement, an inner realization. It does not depend on anyone else. If we really think about it, how can someone who is not a sage, a saint, can give sainthood to others? A sage is a person who has become enlightened. Now he has no choices. For him, nothing is bad and nothing is good. He has become natural. He is just like a tree or like a hill, like the river or like the ocean. He has no mind to say anything, to interpret. He doesn't divide. It is said of one Zen master, one Zen sage. He lived in a small hut 3 or 4 miles outside the village. One night he found out that a thief has entered his hut. The sage was disturbed because there was nothing in the house that this thief who had traveled for 3 or 4 miles in the night would be able to take. He would have to go back empty-handed. The sage actually started weeping and crying. The thief became concerned. He said, "What has happened? Why are you crying so much? Are you disturbed that I may take something from your hut?" The sage said, "No, that is not the thing. I'm disturbed because there is nothing here for you to take. Had you informed me earlier, I would have arranged something for you to steal. There is nothing. What will you think of me? And this is such an honor that we have traveled 3 or 4 miles in this night, this cold night, to come to my hut. No one has given me such an honor before. I'm just a beggar, and you made me a king, just by the idea that something can be stolen from me." and there is nothing, so that's why I'm crying. So he said, what should I do now? You can take my blanket. The sage had only one blanket. Otherwise, he was naked. Just under the blanket, he was naked. And the night was very cold. He said to the thief, please have some compassion on me. And don't say no, because I have nothing else to give you. Take this blanket, and whenever you again think of visiting me, just give me a hint. I am poor, but still I will arrange something. The thief could not understand what was happening, but he saw that the man was crying and weeping, so he took compassion on him, and he couldn't say no. He took the blanket and disappeared. And at that night, this Zen monk wrote a small haiku in which he said, he was sitting still at his window. The night was cool, cold. The full moon was in the sky. And he says in his haiku, God, if I could give this moon to that thief. This is the mind of a sage, or the no mind of a sage. With the same sage again, a thief happened to come to his hut. Sage was writing a letter. So he looked at the thief and said, what have you come here for? And this sage was so innocent that even the thief couldn't tell a lie. So the thief asked, looking at you so mirror-like, so innocent-like, I cannot tell a lie. Should I tell you the truth? The sage said, yes. The thief said, I've come to steal something. The sage said, there is, in that corner, I've got a few rupees. You can take them. Then he started to write his letter again. The thief took the money and was trying to go out. And then the sage said, stop. When somebody gives you something, you should thank him. The money may not be much, but thanking a person will go a long way and will be of help to you. So thank me. The thief thanked him and disappeared into the dark. Later on, the thief was caught, and it was discovered that he had been to the sage's hut. So the sage was called to the court. The sage said, yes, I know this man very well, but he has never stolen anything from me. I gave him some rupees. He thanked me for them. He is not a thief. This mind, or no mind of a sage, is the base. The sage Sankriti once visited Aditya Lok. This is a parable. Aditya Lok means the abode of the sun, or the abode of light, of enlightenment. The sun is just a symbol. The sun is not only a life-giving source, it is a light-giving source also. So the sun is symbolic. Sankriti, the sage, visited the abode of the sun. What this means is that only sages can visit the abode of light. We remain in darkness. We remain in dark nights, not because there is night all around, but because our eyes are closed. Filled with so many projections, we cannot see the light around us. The light is there. The abode is everywhere. We need not go to visit the sun. The sun reaches everywhere. To every nook and corner of the earth, the sun reaches. But only one who has become a sage can enter its abode. The sage Sankriti visited Aditya Lok, and bowing to the sun god, he worshipped him with what is known as Chakshumati Vidya. He bowed down to the sun and worshipped him. His worship was done by the science of attaining real eyes. This is beautiful because this is the only way one can worship light. The only way to worship light is to attain eyes. The worship is finished. If you can look at light without any projection, this is worship. If you project, you have changed the light into darkness. You are behaving like a blind man. No other worship is needed. There is no need to go and kneel on the earth and say a prayer to the sun. It is useless. The only worship is to attain those eyes with which we can see light. So Sankriti worship the sun with what is known as Chakshumati Vidya. If you attain those eyes which can see the real, you have become a worshipper. And only that worship can be accepted by existence, none other. Our prayers are nothing but demands. Our prayers are nothing but childish, foolish demands. They are of no use. We cannot persuade existence to move according to us. We go to churches, to the temples, but what are we doing there? We think we are worshiping, we are praying, we are meditating, but in reality, we are not doing anything like that. We are just persuading the divine power to follow us, to do whatever we desire to be according to us. We are giving advice. However, the divine knows much more than us. They know more than what is to be done. We have come just to give some advice. We are trying to persuade the divine, but there is no way to persuade the whole, because the whole always knows more than the part. And the whole cannot follow the part. The part has to follow the whole. The whole cannot follow us. It is good that it doesn't follow us, otherwise we would create chaos, because we don't know what we are asking for. You may have heard this story. Once a man was worshipping Shiva. He worshipped and worshipped and worshipped for years. Then Shiva appeared before him and said, you can ask for 3 blessings, 3 gifts, 3 boons can be given to you. As the man had been worshipping for so long, he really forgot why he had started worshipping. And his mind was constantly changing. The worship had actually become an obsession. He had forgotten why he had started worshipping. So he told Shiva, let me think. Then he asked for 1 gift, and the gift was given. Then he became aware that this is the wrong gift that he has asked for. So the gift that he has asked for was, he was angry with his wife. So he said, kill her. Immediately the wife fell and was dead. And this can happen to any of the spouses, because spouses fight. There is hate, but there is love as well. The mind is divided. You love the person and you hate the same person. So he asked the wife should be killed, and the wife was dead. The first wish was over. The moment she was dead, he became aware that he loved her very much. So he said, please revive her again. So the second gift was again wasted. She was revived. Now there was only 1 gift left. Then he said, Shivaji, please give me some time to think. Otherwise, I will again make a mistake. And then there is no 4th. So Shiva waited and waited for years. He used to come every now and then and ask, but this guy was not ready to ask for the 3rd. The man was so puzzled, he couldn't sleep. He became almost insane just thinking about that 1 wish, because only 1 was left. He went on visiting all the persons he knew who were wise, and they suggested many things, but nothing seemed worthwhile. Then he asked Shiva himself, you tell me what I should ask you for, otherwise I am going mad. And what Shiva told him is to be remembered. He said, there can be only 1 wish, 1 desire which is worthwhile. Ask for desirelessness. Otherwise, nothing is worthwhile. Whatever you ask for, the next moment you will want something else. Even just the opposite of the first. The mind is divided. Our prayers are through that divided mind. a sage is a person who has become undivided. He cannot pray. His prayer is not through words. His prayer is through his being, the way he is. That is his worship. So when this sage Sankriti looked at the sun, the god of light, the very look, the way he looked was his worship. The way he was his prayer. Those pure eyes with no dreams, no clouds, no tears, no demands, not asking anything, just simple, innocent-like, childlike, just looking at the God. That was worship. That is who a true sage is. Thank you, everyone. If anyone has got anything to share, please feel free to unmute yourself and please share.
Very well explained, Dinesh Bhai. It
Yes,
was
Natalia.
really very nice, very, very nice. Although I missed a little path because some disturbance was there, but it was very nice, very
Thank
well.
you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Mr.
So thank you, everyone, for joining this evening's meditation and wisdom sharing session. Have a nice evening and let us continue meditating. Thank you. Namaste, everyone.
Thank you. Namaste to you all.
Thank you.